Well, they said they featured on the Guest of the Week on the HASA program and said, unlike the special treatment given to the Niger Delta militants by the federal government.
Yeah, I got that now. Don't worry about that. The issue we have, like I said, is a serious issue here, is that some people who are interested in holding this nation to ransom, who wants to continue the act of corruption, will always look for something where anybody said anything, and especially when it's General Buhari, because I tell people, as far as Nigeria is concerned today, General Buhari stands out as one of the figures that people, even those in government, knows that he is a no-go area to corruption, and because they want to continue this act of corruption, they will do everything to taint the image of General Muhammad Buhari. Then having said that, to responding to this, what this, I should say is that the UN, even the UN, at one point, had said that the action of killing innocent northerners in pursuit of Boko Haram members should be condemned, and they condemned it. And so if General Buhari said, as somebody from the north, and they are he said they are killing innocent northerners in pursuit of...
not innocent northerners.
Okay.
It says the Boko Haram members were being killed and their houses demolished, unlike the treatment given to the Niger Delta militants.
I think what this statement reflects, I can see, was the Boko Haram that we used to know, which is not what it is now. If you remember, I was in a meeting with some security officials and with some activists. We had a meeting where we were discussing beyond the hashtags on the issue of the abducted girls. And a colleague who I will not mention his name, a very popular person we know, an activist told the representative of the police that is here that you people are responsible partly for what we are suffering today as Boko Haram. And it is because of the way the Boko Haram leaders of then, Mohammed, was extrajudicially killed. And in that, after he killed them, you remember Obasanjo went and met them, and he was discussing with them on how they can bring back their families, on how those who their houses were destroyed, how it could be rebuilt for them to appease them. So at that point, if somebody he was looking at Boko Haram at that point, when it was entirely a faction of a Nigerian issue belonging to a faction of people in the north, that if they had been treated the way the Niger Delta militants were treated, that it wouldn't have given the opportunity that had come today where international terrorists have seen Nigeria as a breeding ground to now move into this terrorist organization. General Buhari, I'm sure that statement, General Buhari is somebody I know very well, is an associate. I know that, I am sure what he said that time, he would never say it now, because recently, if you recall,
this was only last year.
Yeah, this was only like
and don't forget that Boko Haram, as of last year, it had taken a different turn, turn than what it did in the late President Yaradua's time.
We are still saying the same thing. Look at what I'm saying now. This is 2014. And I'm telling you that if the Boko Haram that we know, who were Nigerians then, had been dissuaded, either gotten them to the table, talk with them, whichever way they need to be dissuaded, whether you call it amnesty or whatever it is.
But if in 2013, you're saying that you're comparing this, saying unlike the treatment given to the Niger Delta militants, and then that's where the misconception comes, saying, look, they don't understand how this statement, what the need of this statement, or what the intention of this statement is. Even if you say it at that time, now the matter pops up again. But don't you think that if he understood, or if it turns out that, okay, I think my statement or my comments are being misunderstood, for the avoidance of doubt, I restate this in that manner, wouldn't that have cleared the air?
Okay.
But as we speak, that didn't happen, did it?
This has happened more than that.
No, him coming up to say, look, I made a statement which was misconstrued, but this is what I actually meant.
I can tell you, in many cases, General Muhammad Buhari has always come out to say, most of these things that were being said are not the way it is. But the truth is
what about this case? Could you give us an example? Was this corrected in terms of the impression?
At that point, I cannot actually quote the impression being corrected. But what I want to draw your attention to is that lately, we have seen some comments that have been made by General Muhammad Buhari. I was telling somebody, I said, amongst the generals in Nigeria, I challenge them to tell me one of the generals that have condemned the activities of Boko Haram, that have publicly said he will assist in whichever way that we need to stop this Boko Haram, more than General Muhammad Buhari. Lately, you see what happened, that even the federal government, the presidency, even commended him for coming out to speak against Boko Haram. So if somebody said something based on...
Isn't that like a little too late? I mean, because what we're looking at right now is a monster that is growing out of hand, and then possibly because we misunderstood what was happening, you know, we had all sorts of conjectures, not knowing the dimension it was going to take. And now that we can all see that we're facing a conflagration of some sort, then we now begin to condemn. Isn't that a little too late?
If you look at the Boko Haram issue, a lot of things has transpired. And the Boko Haram issue is some dynamic situation that at each point, it brings out some features. And with those features, if you're able to make assertions, you find out that the next day, the dynamism change. Like if you look at President Goodluck Jonathan, at one point, he had said, set up a committee for amnesty for Boko Haram. And that was the face of Boko Haram at that time.
All right, Jasper, we'll have to go. Give us a statement or comment on this quickly. Because, I mean, I have a question here. It says, what is the difference between Boko Haram of then and now? How did Buhari see the Boko Haram then and now?
I should say exactly the way I see it now. I can say the way General Buhari sees Boko Haram is exactly the way I see it now. Because I told you
when?
Earlier.
Then or now?
Then I told you, the way he sees it then and now. I told you that earlier, the way I saw Boko Haram as a Nigerian factor was something that we would have corrected by getting to the people involved.
What about now?
At that time, at this point, I think it has changed because obviously the way Boko Haram, the might of Boko Haram at this time, obviously proves that there is a foreign assistant that is beyond just talk to them, that is aimed at destabilizing Nigeria. And at this point, I think, as an individual, which I know General Buhari has restated, that the only way to stop Boko Haram now is to square up with them with full force, with all what we can get, to make sure that we stop them, because they have nothing in common, they have nothing they want apart from destabilizing Nigerians and killing us.
All right, Jasper Azuatalam is the chairman of Buhari Vanguard. Thank you for coming on this morning.
You're welcome.
We'll be back after this break. Please join us again.